Hello everyone, it's Sharon Creations by Carrie. It's Carrie. Hope you're all doing well. I'm hanging on a shoestring. I last week had gotten some cards done and just didn't have time to upload a video because I was doing a ton of training. And I still didn't finish it. But it is what it is. I'll get to it eventually. I did 30 and there's 38 of them and they were like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour long. So I spent Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday working on those. And I still have 8 left. And they're dumping more on me in a couple of days that are due. Quite a few more, actually. So I decided, even though I felt like yuck today, vertigo was kicking in, I decided that I was going to do some cards. And I needed some therapy to try to get my balance back. On top of the other day, my dog had butted me in the face. And so it cut above, just below my eyebrow. And I have a nasty, ugly shiner that just keeps looking worse and worse. And it actually still hurts. And that was, I want to say, Friday morning of last week. And it is Thursday morning of the following week. And I still look like I got beat up. So it's been another crappy week. And I'm hanging on a shoestring. So thoughts and prayers appreciated. So let me show you the ones that I did last week. Excuse me. I had done some resin molds and made the little butterflies. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to put them on a card. Well, the concept in my head worked out. It don't look so good with the antlers. I should have not done the antlers. It's childlike. And I think the next time that I do the resin molds that I will not do them as thick so they don't stick out as far. So that's the first time I did them. So now I know. This one's not as thick, but I'm going to try to do them thinner next time and see what happens. And so I just matched up the paper with a bow, pulled out a bow, did this embossing, which, let me add this other light. I think this other light needs to be on. I did this embossing and it was a strip and I cut it up and backed it with pink paper. And then I had a tiny little tag. So I put a little heart on the tiny little tag with a little black dot and cut out a small bow and just did the lines with metallic pen. It would have been cuter had I not done the antlers on the butterflies. So, yeah, they kind of ruined it. So, overall, I like the card, minus the antlers. And so I was also playing with embossing folders. I had watched Marion Emberson, and I occasionally forget that I have things. um, and I keep forgetting I have embossing folders and how much they can be used in any card. So yeah, that's what I did last week. So I had these little flower centers that I'd gotten from Temu. And so I had a stamp, so I stuck them in the center of the flowers and then added a couple of sentiments. And then the base, the card topper, I did with one of my embossing folders. and then just did it on black paper. Put it up, mounted it on black paper, and then mounted it on a card. Looks a little crooked. And I don't think it's me. Don't think it's my alignment. I think it's actually this card because it sticks out at the bottom. So it makes it look a little crooked. So I might have to do some trimming to get this little edge off so it doesn't look crooked. Although the top looks crooked. I still like it, regardless. And then I played with embossing folders again, but I also played with a punch. And I can't remember if it's her, Marian Emerson, or if it was somebody else that I had seen. It was possibly somebody else, where they were doing circle punches. It was somebody else. I don't remember who it was though. It was like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago when I seen it, and I've seen a ton of videos since then. But I don't have circle punches. I keep putting them in my cart, and they keep selling out. So, and I haven't made any purchases in a really long time because we broke. So I had a punch that I've had forever, and it was one of these little ones, and I just punched random printed paper and attached them to the card front, and then embossed it. Well, I goofed on this embossing, so it's not in line. It's smooth up here, cut off here. So, and it's just the card base. It wasn't a topper, so I goofed the alignment on this one. I did these two different ways, and I can't remember exactly what happened, why this one ended up messed up. I think this one I did this way, and then this one I wrapped it around the embossing folder. So this was the back, ended up on the back side because it looks like I got some impressions from my plate. So don't fold your card around your plate. Keep it flat like that. So that's what happened. Why that one ended up messed up. But the concept is cute. And then I took one of the papers that I punched and did it as a backing for the sentiment. So those are those. That is those. Forgetting how to talk suddenly. And then in the line of this same concept is I did the same thing, ran it through an embossing folder, stamped out a die, fussy cut around it, and then I added little butterflies that were in the stamp. Those were black butterflies. When you do the complete stamp, they were solid butterflies. And so I have these little tiny ones that go on nails. And this little butterflies have like a purple tint to them. So I added some dewdrops, homemade dewdrops, to pull in the purple of the three butterflies, and then added a sentiment and mounted it on black cardstock and mounted it on a card. And then this one, I really went a little crazy with following one of the techniques that Marian Emberson did, which was put vellum over the top of cardstock, and it'll imprint into the card, and you can have the vellum not break like it would by itself. And so I decided to keep the paper behind it, and instead of using black cardstock, I literally sat there and inked this cardstock. I have a whole package of black cardstock. Why I inked it, I don't know. But I think I was trying another technique of ink blending, but I didn't. I started off with the concept of going one way and derailed the opposite direction. So this is what I ended up with. I did the embossing sentiment, and then did this stamp, and then I had black and white flowers, so I put a few of the black and white flowers on the stamp and then snuck a doily behind it. Let me back up a bit. I glued the doily onto the vellum and onto the cardstock and then embossed it. So the embossing is on the doily also. Not sure if I like that. It's interesting though. And I'm wondering if I didn't emboss it, would it add another elemental texture to it? So if you want to try something like this, if I do this again, I won't emboss the doily because it may be a smooth surface with a texture, which would help in the dimensions because it kind of just gets lost as far as um, being another element. Although I like the fact that it's embedded into the vellum, which is kind of cool. Which is actually what happened with these, is it embedded into the paper when you emboss it, which is pretty cool. So that's another technique. And then I added some bling and basically hid where I put glue. So I put a little bling in the corners so that you couldn't see where I had tacked it down. And then with this on top, this hid also another spot where I put glue. Alright, and there's that. And then tonight I played another technique that I'd seen Marion Emberson do. This I need to press down, put it underneath something for weight, because that is vellum. And when I put a little bit embossing powder in the centers of the butterflies, I did it after the fact, and so I burned the vellum, which was a frosty. It's just a white frosty, just like this, except it started to burn. So I took one of my gel pens, which I believe I got from Temu, 3D Jelly, and I colored it to try to hide the fact that it was a brown. Because, oops, that vellum burns. And so I gotta try to put it under something to keep it down. If not, I will have to tack it down. But I wanted the wings to be free flowing or up and only glued in the center. And I think my glue spread. So, and then I put a few of my homemade dewdrops, and then I embossed a stamp and put it on a strip of paper and did the 3D foam to raise it up for more dimension. And then this one, which is what it basically, I cut all the butterflies out of a second page that I had ink blended and then sprinkled a little bit of white embossing. And so, and then I also sprinkled some water on it too. And so this is the other sheet of blended paper, blended cardstock. I had taken a little bit of the silver glitter that I have, put a few dots randomly. And then there's the white embossing, and then there's some white embossing on the background. And I have vellum on these two. And these butterflies on the bottom were cut out from the other paper, so it's a different color. And I placed them in spots that they would stand out more. Put the darker butterfly against the light against the darker, and put a few more of my dewdrops, and did the embossing with the black on white and fussy cut around it. So those are my cards. And then what I plan on doing this week is while I have downtime at work, where I'm fighting to not fall asleep at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I stamped out a bunch of stamps that I have dies to go with them. And so I stamped, there's 3 of them in the set for this one, so I stamped them twice. And I'm going to cut them out, and they're going to be on cards. Same as this one. This one's a huge stamp, and it has individual dies to go with it. And then this one has dies for all of these, and then I have dies for these. So I'm going to color them with colored pencil, and next week I will make cards with them. So we'll see how well I color them. This one has a stencil, which I don't want to bring all my inks and brushes and try to do that. So I'm going to try, because I've already done that one time. So now I'm going to try it with colored pencils and see. I didn't like the way the ink looked, the alcohol pens. So I'm going to definitely do it with colored pencils this time, and hopefully it looks nice. Because then I will have several cards to make for next week. So that is what I have been up to this week and part of last week. I'm super tired, and I still got to take the puppers out. But I definitely am liking the different techniques that I'm trying. That's what's making it fun, is I'm doing things that I forgot about, haven't done in a long time. Use pieces of my craft supplies that I haven't used, using them with newer things, with older things. So I am enjoying how different my cards are becoming, how unique. Because I'm taking some ideas from Marian Emerson, Gina Kay, and just having fun with, when I look at a card, I start off with an idea and then spiral into what looks good. And if it doesn't look good, then it doesn't. I got to try it. So it was funny because Marian Emerson video the other day was, she plays with everything. She gets the pieces together and she puts them down and she just keeps playing with them. And that's exactly what I did, because like even with this one, these little pieces were not the original pieces I was going to put on. The original pieces were like sunflowers. So they were brown and yellow, very flat. And so then I dug in some more of my stuff and I was like, oh, pop of color. That'll look nice. And I actually really like this one. Same with this one. I went digging in my butterflies, found 3 butterflies that I liked, and then went to my little homemade dewdrops and pulled those out. This, it was just so happens I forgot I had black and white ones, and I just found the spot to put them on. So, of all of them, I really like them all, except for my blooper on the antennas. Did not go as planned, but that's how you find out if you like something or not. One that didn't come out the way I'd hoped out of all of these, I'm okay with that. I tried, and that's what matters, is I tried it. So now I know in the future I need to make these butterflies not so thick and not add those goofy looking antennas with fat brushes or fat markers, or if I need to pull out a really thin if I'm going to do antlers again, is really thin tip marker and see what happens. I should probably test them out on a scrap piece of paper before I do this again, because that was a blooper. I didn't do any testing. I just went for it. Cute, but it'd be cute to give to a kid or a little girl or something like that. But it's not a total fail because I tried. So hopefully something in here inspires you to try something and have fun with your items and give it a try. Well, that is it. I don't know what next week is gonna bring. If I survive this week, it'll be great. I have so many ideas in my head, and I got at least one of them off my list, and I hadn't gotten around to doing the other item that I wanted to do that was with butterflies. So that's gonna still sit on the to-do list. But whew, goodness. Sorry about that. Hopefully you enjoy this. The next one I'm gonna do with the butterflies is instead of doing the vellum on top, I'm gonna do it on cardstock with embossed paper. So we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.